Welcome back to this Gita class. Today we'll be looking at the third chapter of the Gita and two questions that Arjuna asked Shri Krishna. First of all, why do I have to fight this war? He's asking again. And second of all, later in the chapter, he asks, why do people do wrong things even when they know it's wrong? So today we'll be discussing these 2 points, and we'll start right from now as we do every day, where we split the groups, and I'll start by teaching the youth on these topics, and the adults you'll be watching part 2 of Jeev Ka Lakshya, which today I know the subtitles didn't work, or yesterday they didn't work. Today we have English subtitles on that Hindi speech. So I'll ask all the adults to proceed down to the media room. Do you remember what cycle did we learn about yesterday? The cycle of what? Great. Yes. Okay, so today Arjuna is asking Krishna again about doing his duty. And he says, you know, my duty doesn't look like a very nice thing. I have to fight this war. So again, he's asking, why do I have to do this? So Krishna explains by talking about, you know, the fact that doing nothing is also doing something. It's like a puzzle. You know what I mean? Doing nothing is also doing something. Because doing nothing physically doesn't mean you're doing nothing. Because what keeps working even if your body isn't? Yes. Your brain, your mind. You keep thinking about something even if you're not physically doing anything. So, in fact, Krishna tells Arjuna that nahi kaschit charnamapi jatu tishthatya karmakrit. Your mind doesn't stand still even for a second. This thing keeps going all the time. Even when you're asleep and dreaming, it's going all the time. So, in fact, even if I told you, okay, don't think anything, none of us could do it. We'd keep thinking. You'd be thinking, don't think anything, don't think anything, don't think anything. We're always thinking something. What's that? Yeah, we all are. Now, why is our mind always thinking something? Number one says, because it is always busy looking for, what does every person want? Happiness. So God is watching not only our physical actions, but also our thoughts. So if someone is sitting still, not doing anything, but they're thinking something, can they be said to be doing nothing? No, they're not. So whose mind is actually at rest? Do you know? A saint's mind. That's right, because the saint has found happiness. The saint has found God, so now the saint's mind is at rest. You'll need to get your notebooks from over there. The saint's mind is at rest because he or she has found perfect happiness. That's right. A saint can do nothing. That's right. A saint can, because the saint found perfect happiness. Think of it this way. Until you find real happiness, this mind won't stop even for a second. And then once you find happiness, the mind says, ah, and it becomes quiet and just enjoys the happiness. Yeah, not in the same way though. Technically, it's not counted as an action by God. For if an ordinary person tries to do nothing, can he? No. No, he can't. So, to understand this more, about how the mind is important when we talk about actions. Welcome, by the way. Are some of you here for the first time? You are? Okay. So what I'm teaching you now, you're going to play Jeopardy with when we're done in about 20 minutes. So take careful notes. We're down at number 5 now. And the other answers are here. So this is the conversation between Arjuna and Krishna. Krishna is God, and he's answering Arjuna's questions and trying to convince him what is the right thing to do. So, number 5, there are 4 kinds of karma described in the Gita. Karma means actions, 4 kinds of actions. Oh, you know? Okay, what's number 1, which is doing good actions or doing one's duty, but with worldly attachments? What's that called? Karma, yes. Remember, Krishna told Arjuna in the 2nd chapter, what was one of the ways he tried to convince him to do his duty? Do you remember what he told him? If you do good, if you do your duty, what will happen?
You get good happiness.
Yes, you'll be rewarded in your next life. you'll get something good will happen to you. So that's number one. It means if a person is doing good with their mind attached in the world, meaning I want to get more worldly happiness because I'm a good person. That's number one, karma. Number two is the opposite. Deciding out of selfishness or out of fear or out of something that I'm not going to do my duty, you know. Yes, good, vikarma. That means bad actions. And then the other way Krishna taught Arjuna to do his duty is number three, karma yoga, which means while you're doing the good thing, are you doing it with a hope of getting a reward in the future? Where is your mind? Surrendered to God. That's right. And number four is something we haven't talked about yet, but do you know the answer?
Karma sannyas.
Good. Karma sannyas. Which means having your mind attached to God, but not really being involved in the world. Like if someone is, you know, in the jungle somewhere and just thinking about God all the time, you can't say that they're doing good or they're doing bad. They just have their mind in God. So what does, now moving down to number 6, what does the one who does good karma, what does he get?
Rewarded.
He gets rewarded in his next life. What did you write, Rishi?
We thought it was like
Your definition.
yeah, before it was those.
And what does the one who does vikarma get as a consequence?
It's punishment in his next life.
Very good. Punishment in his next life. And the one who does karma yoga, tell me again, can one of you tell me what does karma yoga mean? Yes.
Never mind.
How about you? Do good actions, and what was the second part? With attachment in God, or with your mind in God. So the one who does that, what's the consequence? What does he or she attain? Yes? God. They attain God because their mind was surrendered to God. And what about number 4, the one who does karma sannyas, which means not doing any visible good actions, like not going around actively helping people, but that person has their mind in God as well. What do they attain? Yes?
Or just rewarded in the next life.
No, they attain God.
Because they're still.
Because you get whatever your mind is. So that person had his mind in God, so he attained God.
Slash to God.
Yes.
What's the bottom? What's the bottom?
I think that's it for what you have to fill in.
What's the bottom?
No, it's just blank space. Okay. Now let's learn something more about someone who actually has found perfect happiness, a saint. Here Krishna tells Arjuna about how a saint lives in the world. So let you all turn your page over to page 2, and number 1 on page 2. An ordinary person performs actions because he wants something. Happiness. Number 2, the saint has found happiness, so does he have any reason to do anything? Yes.
Yes.
What's the reason, do you think?
Because he found happiness. happiness and
So technically he doesn't have a reason to do anything. Because why do we do anything? Because we're all looking for happiness. So once you found happiness, you could say that you would expect that the one who found happiness would just lie like a log and enjoy happiness without doing or thinking anything. So the answer to number 2 is no, the saint doesn't have a reason to do anything. Now, how about number 3 is God? God is happiness. So does he have a reason to do anything? No, he doesn't. Not a personal reason, at least. Yet, God comes in this world, saints come in this world, and they do things. So why do they do things if they have no reason to do things? You know? Yes. To help others. That's right. Now let's talk specifically about Krishna. When he was here 5,000 years ago, Krishna that you see, here holding the flute, that Krishna, he was here 5,000 years ago on this earth planet, yet he had no personal reason to be here. He was only here to help us, to help the souls. Now some of the things that he does are to set an example. Like if I say, do what I do, and see, I'm setting an example, imitate me. So some of the things Krishna did were meant for us to imitate, and some of them weren't. So in number 5, let's list a couple of things that Krishna did which were meant to imitate. Yes? Doing your duty, that's good. Yes? Oh, good. Protect people who need protecting. Tell you something else he did when he was in Dwarika. He gave a lot of charity. Every day he used to give away to help the poor people, giving charity. Yes?
And he also taught others like Arjun?
Yes, he taught people. Look here. Okay, you have to sit up. Sit up properly. And someone already said he did his duties. He did all of his family duties when he was in Dwarika. But some of the things Krishna did aren't for us to imitate, but they're for us to actually think about and remember him and love him through those actions. They're called leelas. And an example of one thing that you might find charming, but which you shouldn't imitate, would be
like stealing,
stealing butter.
Yeah.
When you do that, so you make the people pregnant, because they were too busy churning the butter.
No, he did that because the ones who were making the butter, in their mind, they would think that, I wish Krishna would come in my house and eat my butter. So then to fulfill their wish, he would do that. Yes. Oh yeah, one time he ate soil when he was really little.
And then it's more like sickle came out, and so it seemed like just like butters.
Sometimes little kids do that. Not your age, younger kids.
No, he didn't say.
No, he didn't get sick. Sometimes Krishna, when he got in trouble from his mom for doing something, he would lie and say, I didn't do it. Yeah. But you see, this is important to understand. Does Krishna have any reason to lie? He doesn't. We lie when we're afraid we're going to get in trouble. Can God get in trouble from anyone? So, everyone stop writing for 1 second and understand, stop stop writing and understand this carefully. That some of those things Krishna did, like when his mother would say, Kanha, did you eat the soil? And no, mother, I didn't eat the soil. And the reason he's doing that is because he's acting like an ordinary little boy. So just like a 2-year-old boy would be afraid of his mother and might do something like that, Krishna was acting like that. But it doesn't mean that we're supposed to do that. It doesn't mean we're supposed to lie. He's doing that because when you hear that kind of thing, you think, oh, Krishna is just like me. So you think, I could love Krishna. He could be like my friend or my brother, or an older person might think, oh, he could be my own son. But if he was just perfect all the time, you would think like, oh, he's God, and I'm just an ordinary soul. Why would he love me? So he behaves like we do when he visits the earth planet, so that you can say, so we'll fall in love with him. So we'll find a way we can relate to him. But he's not doing that saying that you should be like me. He's not saying that we should lie or steal or do anything. He's just being a mischievous little boy, that's all. Yes? What's that? Oh, that's different. So you can finish writing this if you haven't yet. You can put this inside. So Krishna tells Arjuna that, again, he's telling him what you should do is do your duty with your mind attached in me. That's how he finishes this whole explanation. Basically, he's saying that a saint always has his mind in God. So whether the saint is in the jungle or whether the saint is doing something in the world, the saint's mind is always in God. And an ordinary person like us, well, we have to do something, and our mind is always active, so even if we go and run away from the world and go to the jungle, our mind is still active, so we're not doing nothing. So we might as well stay, live a proper life in the world, but keep our mind attached in God. So that's what Krishna tells Arjuna, keep your mind in me, but do your duty, which for Arjuna happens to be fighting that war. Yes?
Saints always keep their mind on God, right? Nothing else?
That's right. Well, they can also, do other things, but while they're doing those other things, their mind is always in God. Any other questions? Okay, so let's go to page 3, and this is a really important question. Why do we do wrong things even when we know it's wrong? I bet every one of us sitting here, probably 99% of the wrong things we've done, we knew it was wrong at the time we were doing it, but we did it anyway. Do you agree? So Arjuna is asking, why do people do that? They know it's wrong and they do it anyway. So Krishna has an answer for us. He says that Kama esha krodha esha rajo guna samudbhava. It is, this is number 1, it is kam, which means desire, and krodh, which means anger. So desire and anger make us do wrong things. You can write it in English, desire and anger. Desire means, let's say you were told not to take something. Or maybe, let's say you saw something you wanted that wasn't yours, was someone else in your class. And you thought, I want that thing. But then you knew, no, that thing belongs to that person, and if I took it, I would be stealing. But if that person's desire is strong enough, they might say, I don't care if it's wrong, I'm going to take it anyway because I want it. So see, the desire was strong enough that it made them do a wrong thing. And the other way, anger. How many of you can think of something you did wrong out of anger? Maybe insulting someone, maybe even hitting someone. Yeah, I'm sure we all can think of something. So this is what, you don't have to tell me, it's okay. So Krishna gave us the answer. What makes us do wrong things? Desire and anger. So wouldn't it be nice if we could get rid of desire and get rid of anger and then we'd never do anything wrong? But that's difficult. Because desire and anger, you can say it's like it's part of our mind. So how are we going to get rid of it? Krishna talks about that here. First you have to learn something scientific. Maya, we use this word, you remember what Maya is? We talked about that on the second day. What's Maya?
Cosmic power.
The cosmic power is Maya. So what around here is made of Maya? Can you tell me something that's made of Maya? Yes.
Electric.
Yeah, electricity is a part of Maya. Yeah. Yeah, everything, the walls, the air, all of this, the whole world is made of Maya. Okay, now what about my body? Is that made of Maya?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. What about my soul?
Yes.
No, my soul's not made of Maya. My soul is divine, it's part of God. That's right. But my mind is actually part of Maya. So that's why we have, you can say, bad things in our minds sometimes. If our mind was divine, meaning like part of God, could our mind ever have a bad thought? It couldn't. It would be perfect, like God. So our mind is part of Maya. So there's some good qualities of our mind and some bad qualities. So that's described in number 2, because Maya has 3 qualities. So it means your mind has 3 qualities. Those 3 qualities, I'll teach you the Sanskrit word. A is the good quality, it's sattva, S-A-T-T-V-A. That's the good quality, sattva. B is in between, that's raj, R-A-J. The last one is the bad quality, and that's tam, T-A-M. Sattva, raj, tam. It's definitely part of the Jeopardy.
Oh, yeah.
So number 3, I think I already gave you the answer. What is our mind made of?
I know.
You know? Jessica?
Maya.
Yes, made of Maya. So if our mind is made of Maya, then what 3 qualities does our mind have? Yes?
Sativa,
Sattva, yeah.
Raj, and Tam.
Good. So let's say the sattva quality of your mind is more active. Think of it like 3 wrestlers in a ring. Sattvic wrestler, Rajas wrestler, and Tamas wrestler. You have those 3 qualities in your mind and they're all vying for supremacy. So if the sattvic quality is in predominance, how do you think you are, or how will you behave? You'll be good, right. If the opposite, we're skipping Raj, we're going to Tam. If the tamas quality is active, how will you be? Bad, yes. And if the Rajas quality is active, what that means is you're not tamas, so you're not hurting anyone. Bad means you're actually disobeying your parents on purpose, causing harm to someone on purpose. That's tamas. Sattvic means being nice, being respectful, helping someone. Now, in between means you're not helping anyone, you're not hurting anyone, you're just doing something for yourself. That's Rajas. Selfish, you could say, but not selfish in an evil way, just selfish in kind of a neutral way. Like, let's say you want a chocolate bar and you have money and you go and buy it. So is that tamas or sattvic? No, it's Rajas.
But it's by yourself.
That's right.
But it would be tamas if someone asked them for it and you don't give it.
Well, it would be tamas if you stole the chocolate bar. Put it
You're
that way.
not really I'm giving trouble.
That's right. So, desire, which of those three qualities do you think desire for things comes from? Yeah.
Out of our want for desire for happiness.
No, which of the three qualities of Maya does desire come from? I haven't asked you yet. Yes. No. Yes. Yes. Raj, that's right. So desires arise out of the Rajogun, the Raj quality. And unfulfilled desire leads to, yes. Yeah, you can say it leads to anger, which is more, comes from the tam quality. And then when we have desire, you guys listen, this is important. When we have desire or anger active in our mind, then Krishna says desire and anger cloud our ability to reason. Reason means you know this is wrong and you decide not to do it. That means you reasoned. You had the knowledge that this is right or this is wrong. You guys have to pay proper attention. You have the knowledge, this is right and this is wrong, and then you follow it. Okay, that means you reasoned. You were rational. Now, what can cover your ability to do that? Two things. Desire and anger. So Krishna gives three examples. He says like a fire is covered by smoke. So the fire is there, but you can't see it because there's so much smoke around. That's like you have the knowledge of what's right and wrong, but it got covered up either by your desire or by your anger. So 6A is fire. Rishi, come and sit closer here. I don't want you guys chatting. The second one, 6B, is like a mirror covered by dirt. So the mirror is there, but it's not reflecting anything because it's covered in dirt. It's like you know what's right and wrong, but you don't act on it because of your anger or desire. And C, the third example or analogy Krishna gives is an embryo by the amniotic fluid. Embryo is a small baby growing in the womb.
What's an amniotic?
Amniotic fluid is the fluid inside a mother's womb when she's carrying a baby. Just like the baby is covered by the amniotic fluid, your knowledge is covered up by your desire or your anger, and that's why you end up doing a wrong thing. Yeah, womb means like in the tummy. That's right. So, Krishna also says that worldly desire and its nature to grow can be compared to a natural thing, fire. Meaning, just what we were talking about yesterday. If you satisfy your desire, does the desire get extinguished?
No.
It grows bigger. It's like putting a few more wood on the fire. And number 9. Actually, this Kam and Krodh, these are the primary culprits. But I skipped, okay. Number 8, we perform wrong actions when our mind is full of desire or anger. But some of these, there are some other things that arise out of desire and anger. Some other negative things in our mind. Can you think of some other negative things? Hatred, yes. Fear, greed, yes. Selfishness, yes. Jealousy. Yes. Yes, not being disrespectful or rude. So these are other things that arise out of anger or desire. So we're almost done. A couple more blanks to fill in. Turn to the back of your page. Oh, I didn't answer number 9? Okay. That's all these things that you just told me. So now we come back to this question, how do we get, if desire and anger are causing all these problems, and sometimes because of them we do wrong things, then you could say, okay then, let's get rid of desire and anger. But what did you learn? That desire and anger come from what? Which quality of Maya? Yes. No. Yes. Yes. Raj, that's right. Rajogun. And Rajogun is one of the qualities of Maya. And what is our mind made of? What? Maya. So it means, in essence, our mind is made of Sattva, Raj, Tam. Like if you had 3 different color threads, white thread being Sattva, red thread being Raj, and black thread being Tam, and you made some material out of it, like this, by weaving it all together. Think of it like that. Our mind is made of Sattva, Raj, Tam. So how are you going to get rid of these qualities of the mind and keep the mind? Can you pull the thread out of this and keep the material? No. So how are you going to get rid of these things when they live naturally in your mind? It's like a puzzle, a dilemma. But what Krishna says is, by attaching your mind to God, you can overcome these things. Because that will purify your mind. There's actually 2 more blanks. You can erase 11 and 12. So why do you think attaching the mind to God will purify it? Anyone you know? Actually, if you attach your mind to God, God helps you right away in this life by doing that, purifying your mind. So it's not like God is inactive. God is willing to do something to help us if we attach our mind to Him, which simply means we think of Him and we desire Him. Desire to be with God or desire to meet God. That creates a connection, and God graces you through that connection and purifies your heart. So that's the easiest way to overcome these things that live in our mind that we have to deal with every day. So as your mind purifies, the negative things will gradually become More?
Less.
Less. That's right. The negative things become less in your mind as your mind purifies. And the positive things become more. Two more quick things that leads us to the question for tomorrow. This power Maya that we discussed, we're under Maya. But is God under Maya or beyond Maya? Beyond Maya, that's right. So 11, God is beyond Maya. And our mind is under Maya. So then how can our mind, which is under Maya, reach God, who is beyond Maya? It's a dilemma, and you'll learn the answer tomorrow.
So God is more Maya than us?
What's that?
So God is more Maya than us?
God is in control of Maya, you can say. It's His power. So He's beyond Maya, and we're under Maya. So this riddle, you'll get the answer to tomorrow. So go ahead and head to the Jeopardy room.
I think they'll defeat us in the coffee. Go from this way.
They don't actually need that much detail to understand the point, but I have to give them some good questions that they'll be tested on in the Jeopardy. So that's why I teach them a little more of the technical knowledge. So in the beginning of the 3rd chapter, Arjuna asks Krishna again, why are you encouraging me to fight this war? Basically, if all of this is temporary, as you were just telling me, and I'm not meant to have my mind attached in the world anyway, then, this seems very horrible to me, having to fight a war. So please explain to me again, why are you encouraging me to do this? So Krishna says, Lokesmin dvividha nishtha pura prokta maya nagha jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yoginam. Arjuna, previously meaning in the Vedas, I have described 2 ways of having the mind established in God. It says dvividha, nishtha. Nisht means when your mind is perfectly established in something, like fully impregnated with that thing. That's nishtha. So there's 2 ways of being like that. He says there's the Jnana Yoga or Sankhya way, and there's the Karma Yoga way. So the Sankhya way means you reason, with your own reasoning, you understand the temporary nature of the world, and the fact that your soul is divine, so you don't belong to this world, and so your happiness cannot be of the world, your happiness has to be divine. So don't be attached in the world, and in that way, through this intellectual process, a person can become detached from the world and become, you could say, go beyond actions. But this is a very high state. This is this kind of reasoning, even you and I can do it, but to reach that state of total renunciation is very, very difficult. The other way, Karma Yoga, Krishna says, that means being physically active in the world and having the mind in God. Now both ways, whether through the Sankhya way or you could call it Karma Sannyas, through the Karma Sannyas way, meaning you're not actively involved in the world, but your mind is in God, or through the Karma Yoga way, where you are actively involved in the world and your mind is in God. Either way, your mind is in God. But for an ordinary person, our mind is not perfectly in God all the time. Whether we're in the jungle, trying to be a karma sannyasi, or whether we're here in civilization, trying to be a karma yogi, our mind is not perfectly established in God all the time. So we're not truly a karma sannyasi or a karma yogi. So who is? Shri Krishna talks about that a little bit. He says, Nahi kaschit chanamapi jatu tishthatya karmakrit. A person's mind cannot be inactive even for a fraction of a second. And that is, see, the mind is the one who's churning out the karmas. We're doing some karma every moment of the day, not because our body is active every moment, because our mind is active. Our body may be still, but this machine in here is still going full speed ahead. It never stops. Even when we're dreaming, it's still going. Only when we're in sushupti avastha, when we're in deep dreamless sleep, at that time our mind becomes still. And we're not doing any karma at that time. But as long as we're awake, our mind never rests. And the reason is very simple. We talked about yesterday how every soul desires happiness. And that is our one desire, in fact. That's the deepest desire, and it's part of our nature. No one can stop desiring happiness. And as long as we have that desire, our mind is going to remain active, trying to fulfill that desire, looking for happiness. So the only way of stilling the mind is to give it happiness. Give it that ultimate happiness that it seeks. Then it will become quiet. It's like if you have a water bottle and you submerge it in a pool of water to fill it up. So while it's filling, it makes the sound glub, 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 glub. And when it becomes full, it becomes quiet. So the same thing, when we attain perfect happiness, our mind becomes quiet. And until then, we remain active. So with this active mind, we can never do nothing. So what Krishna is saying is, na karmana manarambhan naish karmyam purushoshnute na cha sanyasana deva siddhim samadhigacchati. Arjun, a person does not attain a state where he's beyond performing actions simply by doing nothing physically. He's not doing nothing. Even if you leave this battlefield and go to the jungle, you're not doing nothing. You're doing something. You walked away from your duty, that's a bad action. Simply by taking sannyas, physically, does not mean you're doing nothing. Karmendriyani sanyamya ya aste manasa smaran Indriyartham vimudhatma mithyachara sa uchyate. He says if someone is physically controlling his senses and denying himself the pleasures of the world and physically trying to exhibit some kind of renunciation, but from inside, like I said, that machine is still running. Ya'aste manasa smaran. He's thinking about all the worldly pleasures that he's denying himself. So he says, mithyachara sa uchyate. That is the very definition of hypocrisy. He's acting like one thing on the outside, and from the inside, his mind is fully engrossed in desiring those pleasures. So he says this is not a right path. This is, he says, vimudhatma. That person is a fool. Physically renouncing is not the answer. We have to, it's our mind that matters. Is our mind attached in the world or not? That's what matters. If your mind is not attached, but you're making use of all those things, no problem. If you've physically renounced all of those things, but your mind is still attached to them, big problem. Krishna is putting forth these points to Arjuna. Shariratra sharirayatra pichate na prasiddhyeda karmana. You can't even support your body if you do nothing. You have to do something, even if you're in the jungle, even if you're a sannyasi, you have to do something to support your body. Karmanaiva hi sansiddhi masthita janakadaya. He says, he gives the example of Janakadi. Janak and others were great examples of karma yogis who were fully engaged in all of their worldly duties and responsibilities. They didn't physically renounce anything. Yet, from inside, they were perfectly renounced. They weren't attached to their kingdom, to their wealth, to their family. Yet they took part in that family life and managed all the affairs of the kingdom and the family with great skill, yet without attachment. So Arjun, be like King Janak. Do the duty of fighting this war, but without attachment. Mai sarvani karmani sanyasyadhyatma cetasa nirashir nirmamo. He says, without hope or attachment of getting your own personal happiness from the world. Yudhyasva vigatajvara. Fight this war. But eliminate the burning confusion of emotions that's going on in your heart right now. Eliminate that by attaching your mind to God. So he's telling the ultimate thing. It's not like any of us can do that instantly just by hearing it once. He's telling the ultimate thing. Attach your mind to God, but physically do your duty in the world. That will allow you to do your duty skillfully and will prevent your emotions from getting in the way, as they were in Arjun's case. So this is the first part of Krishna's answer. Does anyone have a question about that before I go on? Yes.
Attaching your mind to God. Can you give an example of that? So I'm a doctor. If I'm a doctor, I'm doing a surgery. How can I, at that point of time, my duty is to perform a surgery? How can I visualize or attach my mind to God?
So you're right, that in that moment where your conscious mind has to be engaged in some task, you can't be visualizing God at that time. But attachment goes deeper than the conscious mind. Whatever we love, we're attached to. So, as an example, when you're performing surgery, some part of your mind still remembers that you are a father. You don't totally forget that, yet you're not consciously thinking of it, because that part of your identity is deep in your heart. So, through this knowledge of the Gita, we can develop that understanding in our heart that we are related to Krishna in the same way, in an even deeper way than we're related to our own family. So then that becomes an attachment to God when we feel related to Him, and then that stays in our heart all the time. And in addition to that, if we feel that He's the aim of our life, that we want to attain Him, that motivation, that underlying motivation of our whole life, that stays deep in the heart, no matter what we're doing. Any other questions? So just to review before I go on to the next point, the karma in the Gita is broken into 4 areas: karma, vikarma, karma yoga, and karma sannyas. So we've already covered these, but I'm just going to summarize it for you. Karma means doing your duty with a desire for reward. Meaning, as if Arjun were to fight the war because he wanted to be rewarded by going to Swarg, because he did his dharma. That would be considered karma. Vikarma would be if Arjun decided not to fight the war either out of fear or out of, laziness or any other personal reason like that. That would be vikarma. Ignoring your duty is vikarma, and that results in a punishment in the next life. Karma yoga means doing your duty, but without the desire for a worldly reward. So, as I was just explaining, having your mind attached to God with a feeling of relationship to Him and a desire to attain Him, maintaining that attachment to God and then physically doing our duty in the world, that's karma yoga. So although the karmi, the one doing the good action, and the karma yogi are physically doing the same thing, yet they get vastly different results. The karmi will be rewarded, but he'll still be bound by Maya. He'll be bound to be reborn in this world. The karma yogi attains God, attains ultimate bliss, perfect happiness. Yes?
Karmi doesn't mean necessarily good.
Yes. In this case, karmi means doing good things. Vikarmi means doing bad things. And karma sannyasi means someone who is not involved in worldly society or family or any kind of activity in the world other than just, eating and sleeping, and keeps his mind in God all the time. That is a karma sannyasi. So although the karma sannyasi and the karma yogi, if you look at physically, what are they doing? It looks to be vastly different, yet they both attain the exact same thing, because you attain whatever you are attached to. So since both the karma sannyasi and the karma yogi had their mind in God, they both attain God. But Krishna is telling Arjun to be a karma yogi, not a karma sannyasi. If he was telling him to be a karma sannyasi, although he said karma sannyasi will also attain God, but he's saying, Arjun, no, you physically do your duty, so stay involved in the world, but give your mind to me. Then he talks about how saints and God live in this world. Yastvatmaratirevasya datma triptascha manava atmanyeva cha santushtas tasya karyam na vidyate. The saint is one who has attained God, which means they have attained perfect happiness. So they no longer need anything from anyone. Tasya karyam na vidyate. They have no kartabya, they have no reason left to do anything, nothing they have to do. They've done what they have to do. The ultimate thing you have to do is attain God. And now that they've attained God, they've attained ultimate happiness. So their reason for performing any karma has been eliminated. And God Himself is the form of perfect happiness, so what reason would He have to do anything? Yet, both God and the saints do come in the world and perform actions. Why? Yadyata charati shreshthas tatta devataro jana. Shri Krishna says, one reason is that I come in this world and I perform actions so that people can emulate those actions. I explained to the kids that in Shri Krishna's case, don't think that every single one of his actions were meant to be imitated. Some of his actions are for us to emulate, and some of them are simply charming leelas performed in the style of a mischievous boy, which are not for someone to imitate, but only to love and remember. So, for instance, when he was in Dwarika, he gave charity every day. He was like an example of following the duty of family life, the way he lived with the queens of Dwarika and with his children in Dwarika, and how he behaved in the society. He was a perfect example, like Ram, you could say. But while he was in Braj, he was not concerned at that time. Those leelas were not for setting an example. Those leelas were for revealing the relationship a soul can have with God, the loving relationship. So, meaning that in that case, Krishna is not acting as Almighty God. He's just lovingly interacting with saints, actually, who love him either as their friend or their own son or their beloved. So that's why sometimes he told lies to Maya Yashoda, not because it's good for us to tell lies, but because he was behaving as her son. And if she's asking him, did you do this thing? And he's feeling scared that I'll get in trouble from my mom, then just as a 2-year-old boy in this world would lie and say, no, mother, I didn't do it. In the same way, Krishna is doing that because that is what his mother wants. You just be my boy. Don't act like God. You be my son. So that's why in that love of his devotee, Krishna acts as a mischievous boy sometimes, or very playful, very charming. So that's to give love to his devotees, not for us to emulate or imitate those actions. So we have to be able to differentiate between the two. Both are useful. Those loving leelas are there for us to meditate on so that we can love Krishna more and more. And then the other more serious leelas are there for us to understand what's right, what's wrong, and to imitate those actions. So saints also come in the world, and sometimes they set an example. And their whole life is for helping the souls find true happiness as they have. So that's their only reason for doing anything, whether it's God or whether it's a saint. Their only reason for doing anything is to help others. Para upakar. So what Krishna is encouraging Arjuna to do is to remain engaged in his worldly duties and keep his mind in Krishna. To set the example. He wants Arjuna to set the example of a karma yogi. And that's why he's encouraging him in this direction. So before we go to Arjuna's question that he asked him at the end of this chapter, is there any question about that karma yoga, karma sannyas, karma vikarma, all of that? Yes.
Not a question about, individually, understand to some extent, yes, that you attain God and you get happiness at an individual level. Mm-hmm. But sometimes you ponder that what is the ultimate goal of God? To create a perfect society where everyone is happy. And if that is the case, everyone in Satyaloka, Vaikuntha is happy, they are getting God. Mm-hmm. Why create this society by trial, where people have to try and then get happy?
We've never been there in Vaikuntha Lok or Saket Lok. We've never been there, and we don't have access to go there. We've eternally been under Maya. So we've eternally been here in this imperfect place. It's not like God put us here or took us from somewhere else and put us here, or chose that this world should be a certain way. This Mayic energy is also eternal. So remember we talked yesterday or 2 days ago about the fact that Maya always has the pairs of opposites, the good and the bad. So that's eternal. Good and bad quality of Maya is eternal. So the fact that this place is imperfect is an eternal fact. And I think in yesterday's speech, at the beginning of the speech that you heard from Kripaluji Maharaj, he was saying that this whole sansar is one big pagal khana. So this is a hospital for those souls who do not realize who they are, that I am the soul and I belong to God. So as long as we forget that, we stay here in this world, and because of that forgetfulness, it leads to many other things, that we have all the ailments of the mind come out of that one thing. And the goal is, by living here and getting correct knowledge, and with the help of the saints, we can become cured. We can direct our mind towards God, become surrendered to Him, and then we can enter that divine abode. But it's up to our mind. And God is gracing us by manifesting this world into its active form so that we can be born here and get that knowledge and attain Him. If He leaves it in a dormant state, like during Pralay, then we still exist, but we're existing in a dormant state because the world is not active, we're not active. So out of compassion, God activates the whole thing so that we can have a chance to attain Him. Yes.
I guess, but there is an unanswered question that gives us, that gets us into trouble. And in a way, I think we might be alluding to that unanswered question. That being, well, if God is infinite everything, why did God create this problem to begin with? How did this problem
Eternity has no beginning. That's the thing. There was no to begin with.
But the point is that if you talk about Pralay,
and God didn't create this problem. This situation is an eternal situation. We souls have been under Maya since eternity.
But if God is one and only thing, is the only infinite, and there can be one infinite, there cannot be anything beyond the infinite, otherwise it won't be infinite.
So are you asking that why doesn't God have the power to make us God realized? Is that, I'm trying to understand what you're asking.
Not just that, is that, how did it, even eternally, how did it begin, in the sense that if, let's say, after Pralay, it starts all over again,
right?
Then they say, so God is the only one after
So
Pralay.
are you asking that was there a first time that the world was brought into existence? Because there never was. There never was a first time. It's been going since eternity.
So what does Pralay mean?
Pralay means when all this is dissolved into a subtle, the Mayic energy returns into its subtle original seed form. Think of it like a seed, and then Srishti means the seed grows into the form of a tree. So this universe is produced. And then the tree goes back into the seed form, that's Pralay, and grows out again. So that's the world is released and dissolved, released and dissolved.
But I mean, if this is eternal, then again, it suggests that there are more entities than God, because somehow
There are 3 entities according to the Ved. Brahma, Jeev, Maya.
And if that's the case, then God can be infinite, cannot be infinite, because
Oh, He is, because He pervades everything. He pervades every particle of the Mayic universe and every single soul. And we depend on Him. Our existence depends on Him. Yet we are not Him. We have our own free will, our own thinking. So there are 3 entities, not 1. Yet one, God, pervades all. So from that point of view, you can say there's 1. But from a practical point of view, there's 3. Because we are individual souls with our own free will.
But we are all subsets of that one eternal thing.
What do you mean subset?
Like if Brahman pervades everything, then we are all a part of that. Everything.
That's fine to know theoretically, but that is not our experience. So the whole goal is to experience that truth, what you're just saying. Knowing it intellectually is not enough.
So why does pralaya happen? I thought pralaya happens when everything is gone so bad that you want to read.
No, it's just a break. Like night and day.
Okay.
Night and day of the whole universe, you can say. Yes.
Yeah, I can relate to the happiness, I can relate to the joy. But my question is, how do you know there are so many stages of the heavens, like Vaikuntha and so many? Any kind of scientific proof on it? Or?
Yes. Reproducible scientific proof.
Yes.
If you follow the path to God, which has been followed by thousands and millions of souls before who became saints, they proved that this, as it's written in the scriptures, and as these saints who went before me have experienced, I also followed the path and I attained it, and now I proclaim to the world, yes, it's true. This is the way it is. But from where we are, where we stand right now, is there any proof? Not eyewitness proof, right? Because we're not qualified to see that. We have to follow the path. And then it's like if a scientist tells us, I've proved such and such a thing, and I'm a layman. I have no such knowledge, no such skill. So I didn't perform the experiment along with him, then I have a choice. Okay, he's the expert, do I believe him or not? That's my choice. But if I really want to prove it, I can study and get to his level and reproduce the same experiment, and if I get the same results, then I'll know. And if I reproduce the same experiment and don't get the results, then I can say, ha, I knew you were wrong. But without performing the experiment, I have no right to say right or wrong. So as far as what the saints and scriptures are saying, for one of us to say, no, I don't believe you, okay, it's our choice. But a saint kind of looks at us and says, bacha, that bichara, what can he do? I'm seeing and he can't see, so what can I do? I'm showing him the way to get there and he won't believe me. Okay, what can I do?
When saints come to the earth, they come with all their memories?
Oh yes, a saint remembers who he or she is.
So when you meet the God, after that one soul is left from us?
Yes. But we never run out of souls, because the number of souls in existence is unlimited. So even, but constant, that's right. So even if we're subtracting unlimited souls every second that are getting God realized, there's always unlimited remaining. So the world will always have a reason to be here. We have just a couple of minutes left, so I will try to cover the rest of what, this will be a review for the kids. Arjuna asks the question, why do we do wrong things even when we know it's wrong? And Krishna's answer is twofold. Kama esha krodha esha rajo guna samudbhava indriyani mano buddhi rasyadhisthanamuchyate. He says the culprit in this case is kam and krodh, desire and anger. Because even though most people know what's right and wrong, they need to be able to think clearly in order to make that distinction and then control their mind and take it in the right direction. But our mind gets clouded, our thinking gets clouded either by desire or by anger. A thief knows it's wrong to steal, but does it anyway because he wants that thing bad enough to do it, even if he knows it's wrong. A child knows it's wrong to hit another child when he gets, let's say a 12-year-old. 12-year-old boy knows it's wrong to hit his classmate, but he's so angry he does it anyway. Because his thinking becomes clouded. You guys all sit still. His thinking becomes clouded with the anger or with the desire. So this happens to all of us. Probably many times a day, we do things that we later think, no, I shouldn't have done that. And the reason is always either Kam or Krodh. So let's get rid of Kam and Krodh. No, it's impossible because these things are ingrained in your mind. Shri Krishna tells Arjuna that Maya is made of 3 qualities. Sattva, Raj, Tam. And since Maya has these 3 qualities and your mind is made of Maya, so your mind has 3 qualities, Sattva, Raj, Tam. Just like this material, if it were made of 3 types of thread, white, red, and black, that's like our mind is a tapestry of Sattva, Raj, Tam. It's made of Sattva, Raj, Tam. Sattva, the good quality, Raj, the selfish quality, and Tam, the evil quality of Maya. All 3 of those qualities, you can't even say they're in your mind. Your mind is made of those 3 qualities. So can you take the thread out and leave the material? No. So you can't take